Netflix's Senna is finally here, and here is a full breakdown of Ayrton Senna's career timeline, from Formula Ford to Formula One. Ayrton Senna is one of the most legendary Formula One racers in the history of the sport, with his accomplishments and untimely death making him a racing icon. Now, Netflix has released a biographical miniseries chronicling the life of Ayrton Senna, showing his transformation into the Formula One racer that he was at the time of his death. Senna hits most of the biggest beats from the titular racer's life, but here is a full timeline of everything. Gabriel Leone stars as Ayrton Senna in Netflix's new miniseries, with him bringing the legendary racer who passed away in a 1994 racing accident to television screens once again. Senna features a lot of details that many Formula One fans didn't know about the driver, highlighting the professional and the personal from throughout his 34 years on Earth. There is a lot to cover from throughout Ayrton Senna's life, so here is a full breakdown from his racing origins to his final race. Ayrton Senna started racing with go-karts. He loved driving from a young age. The love of racing came to Ayrton Senna at a very young age, with him starting his racing career in go-karts. Senna was born in Santana, São Paulo on March 21, 1960, as the second child to a factory owner and his wife. Senna was incredibly athletic from a young age, and began to show an interest in cars at the age of 4. Senna was taught how to drive a Jeep at the age of 7, with him driving it around his family's farm. Although he was only 7 years old, once Senna got behind the wheel of his first car, he would never stop driving. Senna's father used a lawnmower battery to build Senna his first go-kart, with him entering his first go-kart racing competition at Interlagos at the age of 13. Despite being years younger than his competitors, Senna exceeded at this race, with him leading for most of the event before he crashed into another driver. Senna then moved on to karting competitions, with him competing in the South American Kart Championship in 1977. 5 times from 1978 to 1982, Senna competed in the Karting World Championship, giving him further experience, prominence, and even a manager. Ayrton Senna first competed in Formula Ford, quickly proving his Formula potential. Ayrton Senna 2010, 2. After years of go-kart racing, Senna moved to England in 1981, with him preparing to further his racing career. That same year, Senna began competing in Formula Ford, an entry-level class of single-seater, open-wheel Formula racing. As part of British race car manufacturer Van Diemen, Senna won the British and Townsend Thoresen Championships in 1981. After this, however, Senna decided to return home to Brazil, with pressure from his parents leading him to move away from the sport and pursue a job in the family business. Despite this, Senna was offered a job with the 2-liter Formula Ford team, something that he thought over as he moved back to Brazil. He then decided to return to England and race again, with this being the point that he took up the surname Senna. Senna began racing again in 1982, and, with sponsorships from Banerjee and Pool, he raced in the British and European Championships. In this competition, Senna won 15 out of the 17 races that he competed in, further cementing him as the legendary racer that he would soon become. Senna advanced to Formula 3 in 1983. But he wasn't there for long. Side-by-side image of Gabriel Leone as Ayrton Senna. After dominating in Formula Ford, Ayrton Senna made another major step in his career by moving on to Formula 3 racing, with this being a third-tier class of single-seater, open-wheel Formula racing. As a member of the West Surrey racing team, Senna excelled throughout the first half of the season, with him dominating the league in 1983. Rival Martin Brundle caught back up in the second half of the season, but Senna ended up winning the final round against Brundle, giving him the title. Senna then continued to excel in the world of Formula 3 in November 1983, where he competed in the Macau Formula 3 Grand Prix. There, Senna raced with the Theodore Racing team, with him barely beating driver Roberto Guerrero to get first place in the competition. Although he had been in Formula 3 for less than a year, his dominance over the competition led managers and teams to see a lot of potential in him, with Ayrton Senna then getting the chance to move up to Formula 1. Senna competed in Formula 1 from 1983 to 1994. He raced with multiple different teams. Ayrton Senna was a popular racer upon his move to Formula 1, with him testing for all kinds of teams that wanted to sign him. After a series of tests, Senna ended up signing with a relatively new team named Toleman. Senna made his debut at the Brazilian Grand Prix in Rio de Janeiro, with him qualifying 17th. Senna then finished 6th at the South African Grand Prix at Kyalami, and again at the Belgian Grand Prix. Senna then competed in the Monaco Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, and the Portuguese Grand Prix, as well as the Drivers' Championship. Senna began negotiating with Lotus while he was still part of Toleman, with him then being suspended from the team for breaching his contract. Senna began racing for Lotus in 1986, with him getting 8 pole positions and 8 podium finishes. At the Detroit Grand Prix, Senna drove a lap while waving the Brazilian flag after winning, with this becoming a staple of the racer's career. Senna raced with Lotus for a second season in 1987, although his less-than-stellar performance led to him deciding to leave Lotus at the end of the season. Senna joined the McLaren team in 1988, with this also leading to the beginnings of Senna's rivalry with Prost. The duo had several fierce races, with 1988 featuring Senna's first Formula One World Championship win. Senna raced with McLaren again in 1989, which featured Senna and Prost's continued rivalry, as well as 1990, which featured Senna's second World Championship win. Senna won the World Championship again in 1991, making him the youngest back-to-back and 3-time World Championship winner. Senna continued racing with McLaren in 1992 and 1993. After Prost retired, Senna joined the Williams team in 1994. After driving in several races, Senna competed in the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. During lap 7, Senna's car left the racing line and ran into a concrete wall. The accident caused Senna's death soon after the collision, with this being the tragic end to the beloved driver's life as seen in Netflix's Senna.